That's not an alien. That's not an alien. That's not an alien. It is the 2nd of January 2026. Happy New Year! And one of my New Year's resolutions is to finally get off my ass and start making videos about my books again. I used to make videos on my Scutty-Ark YouTube site about Shut Up Part 1, which was the book that I had published. And I figured, well, there's no point talking about a book if you can't say available in all good bookstores now. When the book got dropped by the publisher, I thought, oh, I've really got nothing to talk about now. I was talking about writing the book and the characters and the plot and how I was going to make an animated version of it, and then I'd read bits of the book and do all the voices and everything, and I'd do Cathermus's voices, of course, because he's always interrupting and making silly comments.
Well, he has his sarcastic shadow, but don't ask me to explain, it's just too complicated. Or else I can't think of a good explanation. Yeah, that's probably it.
Again, I thought, well, there's not any point in doing that anymore because people are going to watch it and say, yeah, well, if I can't hold that book in my hot little hand, what's the point? You know, you're just sort of talking about something that might happen one day. If I was talking about, oh, I'm going to turn this into a film, you think, yeah, well, I'll just hold my breath now and wait for the day that film comes out in cinemas. So getting a book published is not as bad, but still, it's a long process. I started making a video explaining why I wasn't making any videos, which I thought was ironic. Anyway, then I started watching other people on YouTube, and they're all saying, oh, if you like this video, then like and subscribe, and that will help the YouTube algorithm to put me up the higher in the list. When you make a video and you put it online, there are certain key words. For me, it would be Scutty-Ark Productions, sci-fi comedy, political satire, Cathermus, Pentacathalus, just any word that somebody might type into a search engine. And the more followers you have, the more subscribers, the more likes, the more comments, then the greater your chance of being moved up the list. So you won't be on page 96, and so people never find you. So there's one argument for that, for just putting out content of some sort. So now I had to do that with my That's Not an Alien. Now we have Netflix video on demand, so your episode can really go as long as you like. Other people were saying that if you want to get a publishing deal, then they're going to look at your social media and say, oh, well, he's got X thousand followers, so there's a ready-made audience who are probably going to buy his book when it comes out, so it could be worth signing this guy up. So now here I am, but I'm going to talk about That's Not an Alien. Since Shut Up got dropped, I thought, well, That's Not an Alien with its political satire is probably more relevant to today. The book was based on three things: Argentina defaulting on its debts in the 1990s, Bill Clinton being impeached in the 1990s, and a film called Morons from Outer Space with Griffith Jones and Mel Smith. And there was a line in the film where Griff says, look, they're just a bunch of aliens who've come to Earth to do a bit of shopping. And I thought, that's it, that's what I need. I think Mars Attacks might have just come out. I thought, oh, not another movie where the aliens are all hostile and want to kill us all. So I thought, why don't I have a movie where the aliens just visit Earth as tourists and they want to pat a koala? But we're having the build-up for World War III. And countries are breaking up, and America especially is breaking up into black, white, gay, trans, Republican and Democrat. So of course when Trump comes along, I thought, oh, that's exactly what's going on, all the division and the polarization in America. That's exactly what my book is talking about, so I'd better get that published so that everyone can join in the conversation. Now I plan to put out a video once a week talking about this book and trying not to spoil it. But here's the problem. I wrote a book, then I wrote a sequel, then it became a trilogy, and then I found the publishers were all saying we don't want books over 100,000 words. And I'm very prolific. Too prolific, I just won't shut up. So I had to break up my books. So the That's Not an Alien trilogy became the 8-part Alien Saga. So now there are 8 books. And so what do? Do I talk about all 8 of them? Or do I talk about the first 3, which form That's Not an Alien? So the first book in the trilogy has become a trilogy in itself. It could be very confusing if I'm saying, well, now book 7, which is actually book 3, but it used to be book 9 and is now book 12. And yes, I'll basically talk about the basic plot. Won't go into too much detail what follows on. I'll read excerpts from various books. If it doesn't give too much away, but it does sort of give you a detail about the aliens and the alien-human interaction and that sort of thing, then I'll read bits of that without spoiling things, without doing a David Stratton. He was once reviewing the film The Birdcage with Robin Williams, and he said, "Oh, that scene where Gene Hackman dressed as a woman was hilarious." I thought, yeah, that's it, just spoil the twist ending. I mean, if they themselves had put it in their trailer, then they ruined the twist themselves. But yeah, I don't want to have too many spoilers. You can look forward to, hopefully once a week, me talking about how I wrote the book, the plot of the book, the politics of the book, how my book predicted the future. You just wait to hear about that. I'll talk about various characters in the book, and I'll read various excerpts and do all the voices.
But what if you've been living in a hole in the ground all your life, and you've never even heard of Steven Spielberg or George Lucas?
I wanted to at least animate Shut Up. Hey, hold this shirt. Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And then I figured I probably might become like South Park, and all my stuff will be animated because it'll be a lot easier than going out in the middle of the Tunisian desert and being wiped out by a once-in-a-100-year storm, like a certain Star Wars. I thought I'd get into animation. I did a little bit of it at uni, but I was practicing it and making these little animated titles, talk for half an hour and chop it up into about 10 minutes, and then try and cover all the edits with B-roll. I've got hours and hours of me sitting in the backyard writing, typing up my book, reading the book into the computer. Don't try to follow us or I'll cut her head off and shove it. And editing it.
Not a senseless waste of precious life after all.
And then working out how long each episode would go for, because all my books start life as a film or a TV script. Usually a TV script, because I just can't shut up. Don't try to follow along. It just keeps going and going and going. And then I read it into the computer, work out the episodes, and I start moving things around. Have you stopped laughing at your own damn jokes? Don't try to follow us, I'll... And then I have to move them around in the book, and then this episode is like 5 minutes short. I have to come up with something there, and it's a complicated process, which I will bore you with in the coming weeks. And there are also things like I'm drawing spaceships, I'm drawing the characters, even when I animate. So there's lots of pictures I could put in the background of me talking. If you get sick of looking at me wearing me Cathamas t-shirt, then I'll try and remedy that with pictures of stuff going on. It got to the point where every time I say, I think I'll do a video. Oh God, now I've got to do the animation. I was going to do a video called Prolific is Terrific, and I had my little character Spuffy, small person used for explaining everything, SPUFEE. And I was going to have him holding a stack of books, and the book stack keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually he collapses underneath the weight of it. So I thought, yes, I've got to animate that. People complain about AI, but I think, well, if I can animate all my stuff using AI, it'll make life so much easier. But that's for the future. We'll sort out how it all gets animated. The other thing was I started watching videos on YouTube And people are talking, and it's all like this because it's all just cut. And well, they're not bothering to cover over all the edits, and they've got 100,000 subscribers. So why do I need to go to the effort? So we'll just see, because I just love fiddling with things and think, oh, I've got a nice picture of me drawing a picture of Blip. I'll use that now that I've mentioned Blip. And oh, there's a mention of this spaceship. Oh, here's a picture of me editing the spaceship, and who knows? It could go on and on. So I'll stop this video now and look forward to next week. And as they always say, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment, preferably pleasant rather than defamatory, something that'll get you in court. But basically, I'm trying to get subscribers so that the next time I write to a publisher and say, would you like to publish That's Not an Alien? And they say, oh, he's got 3.5 subscribers, bugger that. Right, alright, so back to work. Why not subscribe to youtube.com/ScuttyArk and never be bored ever again? Possibly.